Welcome back to the Upper Tier Podcast, the football podcast we bring you each and every week on the Dynamo Podcast Network. Head over to YouTube, smash that subscribe and bell notification button. Audio versions of the show are available through Podbean, Spotify, Apple iTunes. Wherever you pick up audio versions of the show, you will find us there. Just search Dynamo Podcast Network and you will find us there, the Upper Tier. Joining me tonight, as always, my brother in arms, Darren McCumminsky. How are you, Darren?
Hey, Noel, what's happening, pal?
Good.
I'm excited, I've got to say. This game has just kicked off and the stadium was absolutely rocking. That new Brentford stadium. And it just gave a little chill down the spine. You thought, oh, it's back.
Yeah, it's great, isn't it? It's such a pump for it, man. And great to see Brentford in the league as well with a new stadium and their fans, stuff like that. They had a brilliant
fabulous new stadium. They've a great manager. They've a decent squad. I think they should be all right this season, to be honest with you.
I think so, yeah.
I think they should be in the upper tier of the bottom half, let's say.
Yeah, once they put 3 past Arsenal tonight, they'll be all right.
Yeah.
Ivan Toney with a hat-trick. Anyway, let's get into this. We are not here for Brentford versus Arsenal. We are here for Manchester United versus Leeds. Your lunchtime kickoff tomorrow. Absolute great fixture to kick off the season, I must say. Long-standing rivalry.
Can't believe it's the first game of the season. It's such a big game for both clubs because of the rivalry, obviously. I know, Leeds haven't been in the Premier League for a few years until last year, but it felt like a big game last year. It didn't feel like you were playing one of the promoted teams. It felt like you were playing a big team. Leeds are a good club with a lot of history, and I couldn't believe it was when I saw the draw and I went, first day of the season, Jesus, that's
unbelievable. We're obviously not expecting McTominay to bang in another hat-trick in 9 minutes or whatever it is, or something crazy like that, I was looking down through the head-to-head, 109 encounters, both these clubs. And Manchester United hold a clear advantage. They've won 47, lost 26 and drawn 36. So it's always favoured United, although Leeds down through the years have been a massive club. It's fair to say Leeds will probably kick on this year, won't they, from having that season in the Premier League? And Ellen Road is going to be a fortress again once fans are back in there again.
Yeah, I think so. I think Ellen Road is a great stadium as well, and I think fans being there will give them a hand. I know, they were very, very open last year, but I couldn't imagine them trying to go and do exactly that again this year. I think he will adapt things. They let the left back go, but they brought in the boy from Barcelona, Firpo. He was a good player, and he was very good at Betis before he joined Barca and didn't really get a run at Barca. But I see him talking this week about even tactically how much more Bielsa has done than what he did in his year at Barca, even.
How are you feeling about the business United have done so far?
So I was talking to a couple of United fans about this yesterday, actually, and obviously you've got to be happy with what we've brought in, and you've got to be happy with the positions we addressed, because the right side of that attack and the centre back position were 2 of our problems. For me, though, there's still a couple of little issues we need to sort out. I suppose tomorrow we're probably going to see David De Gea start, because obviously Dean Henderson hasn't been well for a couple of weeks. He's got the back end of the COVID going on. But we need to know who our number 1 is. Now, for me personally, I'm a massive David De Gea fan. I think he's been absolutely amazing for Man United. He always was absolutely nothing. But I think it's time for a clean run for Henderson. I think Henderson needs to get a season or 2 under his belt so we can see how good the kid is and decide then whether we need to go into the market or not. I think we need to try and get that massive wage of David De Gea off the bill, to be honest with you. I think Heaton's more than capable as an understudy. And then you've also got Grant and the lad Ethan Bishop and stuff like that. So, but I think that goalkeeping situation needs to be sorted. And then obviously, I think in midfield, we're probably maybe 1 short. Not maybe that we're short of bodies. I think we've got the bodies, but I think maybe we're short on quality. If you look at Fred, McTominay, Matic, there's nothing wrong with them as footballers. But if you're going into a game with Chelsea and you're going in with Jorginho and Kante, you want to have something in there that can match that. And unfortunately, the boys just can't match that as they are at the minute, you know. So and I still feel we're a little bit light up front, to be honest with you, man. I think, you know, Martial is looking like he's going to be our number 9 to start the season. You've obviously got Rashford, he's out injured after his operation. He's going to be maybe 2-3 months down the road, and Cavani is isolated because he's coming back in from South America. So we're going to start with Martial as number 9, and he hasn't always done the business for us, you know. I don't even like him as a 9, if I'm honest. I probably prefer him as an 11, which is wide in the left, you know. I think that's a better position for him, because I think when he doesn't get the ball, he can lose the head and he can get short-tempered and stuff. Whereas I think the more you can get him the ball and he can start going at people, that's when you start to see the best of Anthony Martial, you know.
Well, it's a big opportunity for him as well, isn't it? Because he's been kind of out in the wind a bit, you know what I mean? So if he's going to lay down a marker, this is the time to lay down a marker, or else it's probably time to move on, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. I was surprised we kind of kept him in this window, but if you look at that Cavani coming in late, he's probably obviously got to get some fitness and stuff like that under his belt. Might be week 3 or 4 before we see Cavani. So, you know, and with Rashford being injured, obviously as well, with the shoulder, you don't want to leave the goal scoring burden just on Mason Greenwood. That's an awful lot for you for the shoulder. So I think he had to kind of keep Martial for now. But again, as you said, unless he starts like an absolute train and bangs in goals, you know, in the first 2, 3, 4 games, I wouldn't be shocked to see him go even in January, maybe. You know, because again, he's another lad on good money that you can't be paying these lads big money to sit on benches anymore. It's just not, well, unless you're Man City, obviously, but
and it's a bad time to be moving players on and trying to bring players in as well. That January window does be horrific, you know. Let's take some team news here. Obviously, for United injured, Alex Telles, and obviously Marcus Rashford out with the shoulder. Doubtful, obviously Dane Henderson, Eric Boye, Ahmad, and Phil Jones, who's on the doubtful list for the last 10 years, I think. And obviously not available, as you said, Cavani and Jesse Lingard. For Leeds kind of have nearly a full squad available till them, only a couple of doubtful ones. Jamie Shackleton, as you mentioned, Junior Firpo and Diego Llorente, they're the ones that are kind of doubtful, but everyone else is good to go.
I think I heard Bielsa say that Firpo would be involved, but I think he said Llorente probably wouldn't make it in time. You know, so listen, they're probably in a slightly better position physically than we are, I would say. They maybe don't have as many internationals that maybe would have been off at the Copa America or the Euros and stuff like that. And also they're a Bielsa team, you know, so they know how to run and they know how to be busy.
They'll definitely.
It's a banana. It's definitely a banana skin in the waiting, you know.
Looking at the predicted lineups, both teams play 4-2-3-1 by the looks of this. So for United, David De Gea, Wan-Bissaka, Victor Lindelof, Harry Maguire, Luke Shaw, Donny van de Beek, Fred.
I don't know if Donny will start, but I'd be delighted if he did, if I'm honest with you. But
then you've Mason Greenwood, Bruno, Pogba, and Anthony Martial.
I think he'll start. They probably go with that actually. I seen something earlier on. They were talking about Sancho, Fernandes, and Greenwood being the kind of attacking three behind Martial. But you'll probably give Pogba a spin before you'll play Sancho, because obviously I think he only trained for a day and a half this week, I heard Solskjaer say. So he's not up to speed just yet either. He'll probably keep him for the bench maybe.
It's fair to say that Van de Beek has probably done enough in pre-season, has he, to warrant some sort of much more involvement?
Yeah, like I don't think his performances haven't been amazing, but they haven't been awful either. And you know, pre-season can be about getting minutes under the belt and stuff like that. I think for me as a fan, the thing I'm happiest with Van de Beek is his attitude and the way he's going about things. You know, he was due to go to the Euros and he obviously got injured and they pulled him from the Dutch squad. You know, there's an easy way out there. You go on holidays for 3 or 4 weeks, you put the feet up, you relax, maybe you put on a couple of pounds because you're injured and blah, 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 blah. He came back to Manchester very, very quickly after he was let go from the Dutch squad. And he actually told the lads, he said, I want you to give me a program. And he said, I'm going to stick to it, you know, stringently. And I want to do a bit of bulking up. I want to make myself more physical and more robust for this league. Like, you couldn't ask for anything else out of a player, you know. And I suppose that's probably where United fans will be pulling for a guy like that. and saying, all right, well, let's give him a couple of games. Let's see what he can do. And we know when he was at Ajax, he was a superb player, and even if you think about, I know I've heard recently that there's a couple of clubs that were still kind of sniffing around him. Like the likes of Real Madrid are still maybe sniffing around. You're not going to Real Madrid. You're not going to Man United unless you're a very, very good player. Yeah, fellas have bad patches, but I think he'll come good. I really do.
Yeah, it's I was talking to football fans earlier today, and I was making the point that it's an interesting time at the moment in terms of players and hanging on to them, because Barcelona have their problems, Real Madrid have their problems, Inter Milan have their problems. A lot of these big teams that normally would be sniffing around the likes of a Donny van de Beek and stuff like that to sound it out is not an option anymore really for them. So staying at United is a much better option.
Yeah. And even the likes of PSG, where again would have been an option. Now they're looking to shed weight because of obviously Messi this week, Yeah,
they've already done their business.
They've already done and like what business they've done as well,
Yeah.
But yeah, the lads don't have options really to go anywhere.
Yeah. Let's fly down through the Leeds United 11. Meslier obviously in goal, Luke Ayling, Liam Cooper, Robin Koch, Stuart Dallas, Calvin Phillips, of course, who we've seen in the Euros, who was outstanding. Click, Rafinha, Moreno, Jack Harrison, who signed a new deal there, obviously. And Patrick Bamford, of course, who's an outstanding player. The only thing I worry about in terms of Leeds, and I seen it last year, the goalkeeper Meslier at the back, he's very young and can be a little bit naive at times.
He is. I think he just signed a new contract today. I saw that.
Yeah.
And I don't think initially they brought him in maybe to be a number one. No. I think because they had Casilla there as well on loan from Madrid. And I think that was the idea. He was going to back up Casilla. And then Casilla obviously had a couple of howlers and he put the young lad in and he did well. And, he did pretty well, but yeah, I suppose he is someone maybe you could get at slightly. The likes of corner kicks, free kicks. You got someone like Harry Maguire attacking a goalkeeper like that. Yeah. There's a possibility you could do a little bit of damage, But I think they're a good side, Leeds. I think Phillips is an outstanding player. I think he could play in an awful lot of teams in that league. And I think the boy Rafinha is very, very special. I'm surprised he's still there, to be honest with you. I know there was talk that if United maybe didn't get Sancho, they'd look at Rafinha for the right side because he's a serious footballer, Yeah,
Liverpool made serious inquiries about him, and he basically told them he didn't want to leave Leeds, which is interesting considering the project that's there, So that just goes to show what Bielsa's doing there, and they have a lot of confidence in him and stuff like that,
Yeah.
The one thing I'd say about Leeds as well is like they've kept that kind of core group there that they had last season, but they haven't added a whole lot to it yet.
No.
And that would be my fear in terms of
probably a little bit light in depth, because obviously they took in the boy Firpo, but that was because they'd let the lad Alioski go. Yeah. His contract had ran out and stuff like that, So it has kind of been one in, one out, as opposed to adding quality to what you already had. But I think if I'm right, Bielsa's always been on that kind of same wavelength with Klopp, where they work with a much smaller squad than a lot of coaches do. There may be 4 or 5 players light than than you'd want them to be.
Yeah, I'd be worried, if the likes of Bamford picked up an injury or Dallas or Jack Harrison, you'd be wondering where the goals are going to come from, of course,
Yes.
And that would be my biggest concern. And there's not that quality isn't there on the bench to come off if those kind of things arise. And you're going to pick up injuries throughout the season no matter who you are. It's very unusual for any team, and it's a long season for the likes of the Leeds and stuff like that. Because I see Leeds as being one of those teams this year that could potentially break in, definitely top 8 and into the top 6. Especially with the effect of Ellen Road and fans back there, I think they'll be a lot more successful this year. Plus, they have that year of being back in the Premier League under their belt as well. In terms of predictions, what you thinking?
I think we'll beat them, but I think it'll be open. I'm kind of thinking back, a good few years ago now. We played Fulham on an opening day. It was a Sunday kickoff, and we beat them 3-2. Van Nistelrooy made his debut, scored a couple of goals. I'm going to say 3-2 United. I think it's going to be something similar. I think it's going to be United Leeds. It's going to be end-to-end. There'll be goals. There might be a red card. And I think United will just nick it by the odd one.
You fancy a red card tomorrow? Who's the red card for?
Could be anyone, really could be. Like I always get worried in big games like that. When a manager gives you a team talk beforehand and says, go out there and do something nice and early and let them know you're there, get stuck in, blah, blah. And with the league that the lads play in now, that only needs to be a split second late. It looks really, really bad. There's no intent maybe, but because of the pace that these guys move at, all of a sudden it looks like a really bad tackle, especially with the likes of VAR. And I think that the red card is there's a possibility, all right. I hope I'm wrong now, because I'd like to see them 11-11 and just let them go at it, but
yeah, absolutely. Well, if you're someone who fancies a flutter now that the football is back, Man United 11-20 on, the draw is 10-3, and Leeds are 9-2. That's the betting at the moment.
I do have other news.
I know, I just saying it. Go on, fill me in.
It's 1-0 to Brentford. Brentford have taken the lead. Long ball, flicked on. Didn't deal with the first ball. That ball looks like it could be out. Recycled it. Oh, it's a great finish. Keeper's beating his near post. Probably shouldn't be beaten. That ball looked like it was out. The ball looks like it's out on the end line.
Yeah.
I think it's Chambers. It's the boy Chambers tries to keep it in because it's going out for a Brentford throw. And it's actually, he's been nutmegged for the goal. Can't seem to see who goes up against him on the left-hand side. Tucks in onto his right foot. It might be Canos. It might be the ex-Liverpool boy Canos. Tucks in. It is Canos. Tucks in from the left-hand side, tucks in onto his right foot and hits it quite early. Hits it through Callum Chambers' legs and into the front post. And it's a very good strike. But I don't like goalkeepers getting beaten at the near post, man.
I tell you, you're officially now you're the upper tiers now, Chris Kamara. Awesome. Yeah, I'm looking at this one tomorrow. I think it's going to be slightly tighter. I don't think this is going to be open because it's too early in the season. I'm thinking United 2-1. Man United, that is. Yeah, so that's it. Sure, look, it'll be interesting to see. Off and kicking anyway. That's the main thing. I'm not mad about those early lunch.
When are you boys off?
We're 5:30 tomorrow evening against Norwich.
5:30 tomorrow evening, right?
Yeah, you can expect an absolute obliteration.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, I'd be very. I'm not even worried about a win. I'd be more worried because I think they have a number of key players out as well due to COVID and to injuries.
Norwich do.
Yeah, okay. We did a preview there last night. It's up there on the Dynamo Podcast Network. But they're missing a number of key players and stuff like that, and we look like we have a full complement more or less, So yeah, I'd expect us to put maybe 4. I'd expect the guys to get their golden boot off to a good start.
So you're excited?
I am very excited about this season. Fingers crossed, no major injuries and stuff like that. I know Robbo picked up one pre-season, but hopefully we can just get off and running.
Will Tamika's play tomorrow?
100%.
Great, I put him in my fantasy.
He's had a great pre-season as well.
Yeah, saw a little bit of him look quite good.
Yeah, and I'm hoping to see Keita tomorrow as well, and I'm hoping Knox gets a run out as well. I hope they've all done well in pre-season, so I hope they all get some sort of a run out. It's actually the perfect fixture for us to start with. Now, touch wood, I hope I'm not calling this too wrong, but I think we couldn't ask for a better fixture, really. They're in trouble coming up. They sold off one day and stuff like that, and we look like we're in a really good place at the moment, with the exception of Robbo. So, yeah.
I think I know we're the United Leeds here, but I think that was a mental decision to let someone like Buendia go, like your player of the year coming up from the Championship. I know they offered big money, Aston Villa, but to come into the league without your best player and not really replace him is, what kind of message does it send to the fans? Do you know what I mean?
It sends the message that's going to be a long, hard season. Yeah,
it really does. And, if you guys get on top of them tomorrow and do thump them, it's a long way up, as they say.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, listen, pleasure as always having you on for this Man United versus Leeds preview. We will see what happens tomorrow at lunchtime, but it's going to be a hell of a season. Till next time, obviously video episodes on the Dynamo Podcast Network on YouTube, audio versions of the show on Podbean, Spotify and Apple iTunes. Darren, till next time. Let's do
Thanks,
this.
Niall.
The season is about to begin.
Appreciate it, buddy.